Hello teachers, learners, and parents. Sir Jeff po, at your service. Alam nyo ba na meron tayong website na tinatawag na DepEd Commons? Ang DepEd Commons ay binuo upang gawing accessible ang pagtuturo at pag-aaral dito sa ating bansa gamit lamang ang inyong mga smart devices gaya ng cellphones, tablets, at computers. Dito ay maaari nating ma-access ang iba't ibang learning materials mula sa Department of Education. Meron itong mga interactive materials, electronic self-learning modules, at instructional video lessons mula sa DepEd TV na tiyak na makatutulong sa pag-aaral ng mga mag-aaral galing ka man sa public o private school. Walang problema dahil welcome ang lahat dito. Para ito sa mga guro, magulang at mga mag-aaral mula sa kinder hanggang grade 12, alternative learning system o ALS, at pati na rin ang special education. At huwag kang mag-alala dahil kahit walang load ay maaari mong ma-access ang mga learning materials. Tama! Libre ito. Ang kailangan mo lamang gawin ay i-on ang iyong data at buksan lamang ang iyong browser at i-type ang commons.deped.gov.ph. Alam na ba ng iyong mga kasamahang guro o mag-aral ang tungkol sa DepEd Commons? I-share mo na ang video na ito upang matuto rin sila kung paano gagamitin ang DepEd Commons sa mabilis at napakadaling paraan. Muli, ito po si Sir Jeff at kita-kits po tayo sa DepEd Commons. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICT's Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Good afternoon to all of our learners. I will be your online tutor for the day. I am Tutor Mark, and I will be guiding you to understand the concepts and lesson for the 21st century literature. Okay, so to all of our learners currently watching, I want you to prepare your paper, your pen, and also your self-learning module. So I'll be guiding you along the way to fully understand this concept, and later on, guiding you in answering exercises found in your self-learning module. Okay, so to all of our learners who are currently watching, hello po, hindi po kayo nagugulat. Ako po talaga ito, si Tutor Mark. At I will do my best to deliver this one efficiently para maintindihan niyo po yung lesson na ito. So I will be communicating both in English and in Filipino so that I could express also clearly the concept and lesson. Okay? Kaya sa ating mga manonood sa araw na ito, kagaya po ni na Rosel Labordo, Loy Flores, Alex Fernandez, hello. And we are now going to begin our session. So allow me to share first my screen. Okay, so for today, we are going to have module number 7, which is specifically targeting the skill all about the graphic fiction and flash fiction. So before we proceed with our deepening of this lesson or this activity, let's have first a short review. You have first the 21st century literary genre at marami ito. So just to have a recap, let's have the following. First one is doodle fiction. We also have the chick lit, the text talk novels, manga, the illustrated novel, and the digifiction. For today, we are going to add two more of this. Etong dalawang literary genre na ito ay magkaiba pero may magkakapareho din in an essence. So we will be having a flash fiction and a graphic fiction. So to all of our learners who are currently watching, huwag kayong malilito dahil gagabayan ko kayo ng mabuti. I want you to listen attentively and write down important concepts so that you will fully understand these things out. Okay? Now, when we talk about a graphic fiction or a graphic novel, basically it looks like a comic book. A comic book that it is actually in narrative form and it is equivalent by means of communicating to the readers in a prose format. Sa madaling salita, kapag nakakita tayo ng tinatawag natin na graphic fiction or a graphic novel, maiksing babasahin lang siya na parang mistulang comic book. However, what is the difference with this type of comic material do sa usual comics na ating nababasa? This one is direct to the point. Likewise, these materials are created in year 2000 onwards. I repeat, these materials are created by year 2000 onwards. At ganon ang kanyang literary format. Kaya pasok siya doon sa tinatawag natin na current material. So, these are examples of these literary form. Nimona, we have Watchmen, and the Day Tripper. Okay, so these are the features of a graphic fiction para hindi tayo malilito. Una ko nang binanggit, it looks like a comic book. So it means that it has a lot of image. But think about this. It has an orthographic form. Tutor Mark, what do you mean by an orthographic form? Ibig sabihin niyan, direct kung ano yung gustong imagery na ipakita ng mismong creator, yun ang kanyang ipinahahayag. Orthographic form means you are exemplifying something, explaining a scenario which is relatable. When we say relatable, nangyari sa totoong buhay na naramdaman natin. There are emotions involved. That's why when we talk about orthographic form, yung writer mismo, ipinapahayag niya ang kanyang lines into a format na mauunawaan ng mambabasa na hindi nila kinakailangan magbasa ng napakahaba. It's direct to the point. Again, the first characteristic is an orthographic format. Next, it encourages interactivity. So when do we say interactivity? Nilalaro niya yung isipan ng mga mambabasa. So habang binabasa nila yung context, kasama rin nilang iniintindi yung mga images na ginamit doon. The images involved in this graphic novel is actually very artistic. Sa artistry niya, ang ginagawa nun, yung mga blank ideas ay nabubuo at doon nagkakaroon ng interactivity. In what way? The language used is very common. Next, there are sound effects. Kunyari, bzz, boom. At nilalagay talaga siya dun sa mismong script o dun sa mismong speech bubble dito po sa ating graphic novel. So remember, our second characteristic, it encourages interactivity to the readers. Okay? So to all of our learners who are currently tuned in and watching, take note of these first two characteristics of a graphic fiction. Aside doon sa nabanggit ko nga na ito ay isang comic book format. Third, filling in the blanks between image panels. So when do we say image panels? Ito kasi ay naka-by box o nakakahon. At habang ikaw ay nagbabasa nito, naiintindihan mo ang kanyang ipinapahayag na damdamin o emosyon na naramdaman mo sa totoong buhay. At habang binabasa mo, nai-imagine mo na, teka, parang alam ko yung susunod na mangyayari. You have an idea because there is somehow a prior knowledge, commonality. That's why the scenario or the story itself is relatable. Take note, it is portrayed in a story. Uulitin ko, portrayal. Pag sinabi natin portrayal, ginawang in comic format yung totoong nangyari. Okay? Uulitin ko, ginawang in comic format ang totoong nangyari sa isang buhay. Kaya nagiging relatable siya. Next. The fourth one, it combines book and the screen. Tutor Mark, what do you mean by that? When we talk about graphic fiction, most of these things are actually easily downloadable online. Madaling ma-download, madaling makita. Ipinapakita niya ang user experience na para kang nagbabasa ng isang hard copy na book at pwede rin ang screen. Since we are now moving towards the technological side, many graphic fiction or graphic novels are downloadable using Kindle, using your iOS devices, or even via Chrome. By simply searching for it and subscription basis, pwedeng makapag-download at makapagbasa ng isang halimbawa ng graphic fiction na kung dati sa makalumang paraan ay hawak-hawak ang kopya ng isang comic book at yung ganong format ay makaluma. Itong format na ito na tinutukoy natin, pinaghalo na niya ang user experience ng mismong hawak natin ang book at ang screen. So I hope that is clear. And lastly, it shows relationship between images than words. I repeat onto that. Relationship between images than words. What do you mean by that? Listen attentively, my dear learners. Isn't it that when we read something, it is strenuous enough in our eyes kapag napakahaba ng ating binabasa, di ba inaantok tayo? That is not the target of a graphic novel. The graphic novel itself emphasize a story by using vivid images. Sa pamamagitan ng mga larawan ay naiintindihan kagad natin ang kanyang konsepto na tinuturo. And in addition, the sound effects, the clear and precise scripting o yung lines ng mga tauhan ay makikita natin. The narration, the plot, it's complete in one short glance. Kaya, click na click sa mga kabataan. Bakit? Because we are fond of looking for pictures. And if these pictures are in a graphical format with stories, which is relatable, di ba kinikilig tayo, natutuwa tayo? And now, I'll be sharing to you some examples of relatable graphic fiction or graphic novels. So please take note onto it. It will also be seen or is actually included in your self-learning module. Look, we have the article created by Art Spiegelman from year 2004 entitled In the Shadow of No Tower, 9/11. I repeat the title, In the Shadow of No Towers, 9/11. Let's look at the characteristic of a graphic novel. Isn't it that it is relatable? During this time, the two towers in New York was actually bombarded by planes na ano kasi ito eh. If you try to search for it, there is a terrorist attack na nagpabagsak dito sa two towers na to. Now, since that time, Art Spiegelman would like to give emphasis kung ano ba ang pakiramdam sa panahong ito. Isinulat niya yon sa paraan ng comics format o yung tinatawag nga natin na graphic fiction. Why isn't it so? Because there are some readers who are not used to in reading a long narrative. Gusto natin kapag nagbabasa tayo, nakakakita tayo ng mga larawan, nakakakita tayo ng mga pictures, and it's actually the trend. Moving from a usual comics, it is now transferred via a screen format, a combination of books and the screen. Now, you have our first example. In the Shadow of No Towers, 9/11. So anyone who will read this article would actually experience how the author have felt during that time. Ibinabahagi niya ang karanasan. At sa pamamagitan ng pagtingin lamang sa mga larawan dito at pagbabasa sa linya ay nauunawaan ang mensahe na ibinais ipabatid nito. Take note. One important concept in reading this kind of literary genre, it should have a good plot. At makikita natin na ang plot nito ay kumpleto, starting from the beginning, kung ano ang kanyang nilalaman hanggang sa end. Now, we move forward. We also have a graphic fiction written by Sarnath Banerjee from year 2009, entitled The Barn Owl's Wonders Capers, wherein it emphasizes the 18th century Calcutta that uses exploitism. Yung merong myth ditong tinutukoy. If you are somehow would like to read an article related to history, it could somehow link to this material. Ano yung binibigyan na itong emphasis? Ipinapakita nito yung paniniwala na relatable. Kaya yun ang gustong ilagay o emphasize dito ni Sarnath. Okay? So, if you will read this article, it's available online. Yun nga lang, nung chinek ko po ay meron siyang subscription basis para mabasa ito. But as you could see, it depicts the actual scenario in Calcutta. Ipinapakita niya yung building at hinalo yung drawing. Okay? Now, let's move on. Another famous material, a graphic fiction, is the written material or the works of Chester Brown in year 2003. It is a fictionalized violent rebellion in the 19th century on the Canadian prairie who led by Riel. At gaya nga ng aking nabanggit, di ba? Relatable. May mga tao na sumusulat ng ganitong klase ng mga article o sumusulat ng ganitong klase ng literary genre to make that scenario na nabubuhay hanggang sa kasalukuyan. Ano yung ibig kong sabihin doon? Hindi makakalimutan. We make it timeless. If these articles are written in this format, hindi nahihirapan ang mga learners, ang mga mababasa, na intindihin yung konsepto. And that's how it works. So remember all of these characteristics. At napansin niyo, it's by panel, nakakahon. At ang kanyang mga script ay napakasimple, hindi mahaba. While we are looking at these pictures, we slowly understand the concept and the plot itself. At yan ang kinagandahan ng literary genre na ito. At ang tawag natin dyan ay ang graphic fiction. Now, we move on to the next one. Okay. This is an activity which is found in your self-learning module. Lahat tayo, panigurado ako, ay na-experience natin ito. So allow me to share and read this article entitled My Freaking Alarm, written by Dimesha Dean. And later on, we will answer certain activities found in your self-learning module. This is located at page 6 of your module. Okay? Allow me to read. As I lay cozy, all snug in my bed, I enjoy the images inside my head. Until I hear racket beside my bed. It's my 5 o'clock alarm. I quickly silence you, annoying alarm. Then we snooze together and let dreams carry on. Enjoying the peace, then I'll be darned. It's my 5:15 reminder. Now, I hush the ringing of my reminder. Okay, alarm, let's put that behind us. Eyes just shut. But here goes the timer. It's 7:20. I'm late. My dear learners, naranasan nyo ba yan? Bakit niya binanggit ang freaking alarm? Online, what can you say about it? Bakit kaya siya entitled na freaking alarm? Bakit kaya? What do you think? Post your answer. Bakit kaya freaking alarm ang title ng literary genre na ito o yung example ng ating graphic fiction? Ipinapakita dito yung isang babae na mahimbing na natutulog at siya ay nag-set ng kanyang alarm. Nung siya ay magigising na dahil sa tumunog yung alarm, in-adjust niya ng kaunti dahil gusto pa niyang matulog. At nang kaka-adjust niya, ayun, late na siya. Kayo ba ay na-experience din ito? Therefore, kaya itinitle siyang My Freaking Alarm dahil nag-freak out siya dahil late na naman siya kahit na siya ay gumagamit ng alarm clock. And all of us can actually relate to these things. Di ba dumadating ang punto sa atin na kahit anong sipag natin at nag-alarm tayo pero hinihila tayo ng kama para matulog. So, to all the learners who are currently watching, I hope you fully understand this concept. Ipinigay ko at ipinaliwanag in Filipino. Now, let's answer the following processing questions located at page 7 of your self-learning module. Question number 1. How does the speaker feel whenever it rings? Our answer: the speaker felt annoyed each time the alarm rings. And it shows in the drawing. As I've mentioned earlier, the graphic fiction depicts the script or the lines which will elicit our awareness about the story. By looking itself in the picture or the imagery, we can understand the concepts behind it. That's why our answer for number 1, the speaker felt annoyed each time the alarm rings. Now, my dear learners, let's move on to number 2. How did she react when she realized she was already late? What's your answer, my dear learners? What do you think is her reaction? If I were you, we might have the same answer kasi naranasan natin ito. Therefore, she is disconcerted on what to do next. When we say disconcerted, she's confused. Why confused? Papasok pa ba siya? Kikilos pa ba siya? Papasok pa ba ako? Papasok ako kasi baka mapagalitan naman ako kung papasok ako kasi late ako eh. O mag-aalibay na lang ako at sasabihin ko sa aking mga katrabaho na, sorry, I'm sick. If you try to look at it, this graphic fiction, it's quite open-ended, isn't it? However, dito matatawa tayo because it gives us a relatable experience. Isn't it that when you woke up in the morning and you adjusted your alarm clock and then you again immediately adjusted it at na-late ka? Ano ang pakiramdam mo? Di ba para kang hindi mapakaling mapakaling tao, lahat na mainit ang ulo mo at hawak-hawak mo na ang phone mo, nag-iisip ka na ng mga alibay at sasabihin mo sa mga katrabaho mo o kaklase mo na, I'm sorry, I'm on my way. It's traffic, pero totoo, nasa bahay ka pa. Ganon ang mga eksperyensya na pwede nating magawa o mangyari kapag tinignan natin yung literary genre na ito, which is a graphic fiction. Remember, a graphic fiction shows a relatable experience. Is question number 2 clear? Now, let's move on to question number 3. Would you react the same way if this happens to you? And this is my answer. Probably yes. I might also overthink and ask the what if since I keep on adjusting the time for me to move. Hindi ba't dumadating sa atin ang punto na, what if? Sana hindi ko na lang in-adjust yung alarm clock para maaga ako makapasok sa school. Sana hindi ko na lang in-adjust para hindi ako na-traffic o na-late. We always do have the what if. And this shows in this story, my freaking alarm. It only reminds us, my dear learners, that time is precious. And if we try to move something, then we need to accept these consequences. Therefore, the graphic fiction itself gave us a theme, gave us a moral, gave us something that will depict something that will remind us to do something which is good. Okay? So, I hope everything is clear with this first part of our activity. The question itself is written on page 7 and I have given a sample answer. But you may change, okay? You may change somehow which is linked to this one. I hope, my dear learners, it's very clear. Let's move on to the next one. If we have graphic fiction, we also have a flash fiction. Actually, this is one of my favorite. Bakit ko sinabing favorite ko? Ipapaliwanag ko yan mamaya, okay? Flash fiction is an imaginative literature of extreme brevity. It is also known as a microstory, postcard fiction, nanotales, and short shorts. Sa madaling salita, mga bata, mga learners, maiksi lang ang flash fiction. Usually, pag binilang mong mga words niya, hindi yan lalagpas ng 1,000 words. Okay? Ganun siya kaiksi, kaya ang sarap niyang basahin. At bukod doon, bandang dulo, mapapatanong ka ng ano ang sagot. And somehow, it will give you a surprise ending. Kaya nga sabi rito, a story is a promise of a conversation. When we do converse, there is always a good story. But every story has its own different parts, different sides. At yan ang malalaman natin sa flash fiction. So, if earlier we have a characteristic for graphic fiction, we also have characteristics for a flash fiction. I want you to take down notes, my dear learners, para maintindihan ninyo to. The first one is brevity. Pag sinabi nating brevity, konti ang salita, few words. Kaya tuwang-tuwa akong basahin ito. Kaya nga 'di ba sinabi ko, favorite ko, bakit? Aminado ako sa sarili ko na pag nakita ko yung isang story na sobrang haba, ay, tinatamad talaga akong basahin. Pero kapag nakita ko na, ay, medyo maiksi-iksi at nakuha yung kiliti, then that's the target. Many of the materials or the current materials right now is actually in this format. Bakit? Alam ng mga writers na ang attention span ng mga readers ay napakaiksi. That's why they use this kind of characteristic in a flash fiction. Remember the word brevity. Okay? Again, brevity. Hindi yan bravery, iba yung bravery. Ang brevity ay few words. Clear? Now, let's move on to the next characteristic. It has a complete plot. Kahit na napakaiksi o konti ang mga salitang ginamit sa kanya, the story itself is complete. Buong buo. Meron siyang simula o beginning, meron siyang middle, at meron siyang ending. Complete. The parts of this story is complete. Take note of that. And lastly, magugulat kayo. It has a surprising ending. And the ending somehow will test our reading comprehension, our imagination, and I will guide you later on in one of our activities. Okay? So, one example of this flash fiction is written by Hugh Bem Steinberg entitled Taylor Swift. Kilala niyo naman si Taylor Swift, di ba? Pero hindi na tinutukoy dito sa Taylor Swift na singer. At ito ang ilan sa kanyang linya. You're in love. It's great. You swipe on your phone and order. The next day, a Taylor Swift clone shows up at your house. It's not awkward. It's everything you want. You cannot understand completely the text or the story unless you read the entirety of it. However, into this one, ipinapakita lamang nito na concise at precise ang kanyang pamamaraan at very current ang kanyang delivery. Gaya ng aking nabanggit, we have examples later on na magbibigay at magtetest ng ating skills tungkol dito. Now, let's move on. Aside from the written works created by Hugh Bem Steinberg, you can check his online article. Makikita niyo po yan. I-search nyo lang po sa Google yung pangalan niya. Marami siyang ginawang mga flash fiction. Next, one of my favorite, The Unnecessary Things, written by Tatiana Tolstoya. In this line, nilagay, this teddy bear once had amber eyes made from special glass. Each one had a pupil and an iris. The bear itself was gray and stiff. With weary fur, I adored him. Lahat tayo kapag binasa ang kwentong ito, I challenge all the learners who are currently watching, try to read it. At kapag nabasa ninyo, may maaalala kayo minsan sa buhay ninyo na pinahalagahan yung isang bagay na hindi ninyo maialis-alis sa katawan ninyo na mawala. Gaya ng unan, gaya ng kulambu sa paa, at gaya nga nito, ang teddy bear. Unnecessary things. But I will not detail this kind of stories to you. I want you to search for it and make necessary added readings, but I gave already a background. Sinabi ko na, you can read it in one sitting. At pagkatapos ninyong basahin, siguradong ang dulo, it will challenge your reading comprehension because at the end of each flash fiction story or flash fiction material, it has a surprise ending. Okay? So, to have that, let's have an activity which is located in your self-learning module, page 7. The title of this This flash fiction is The Unlucky Winners. Online, are you ready to answer this? But before that, allow me to read it to you. The Unlucky Winners, written by Nikki Johnson, published in year 2019. Each morning, Jim walked to the corner mart for a coffee and lottery ticket. He always passed Pete and gave the same reply to the jangling of coins. Half win, I win. Pete invariably responded with a tip of his soiled red hat. When it actually happened, Jim searched everywhere for Pete. After months, his wife finally convinced him to spend the other half, and home renovations began. The following spring, working in the garden, Jim unearthed a familiar red. While lost in astonishment and horror, the faint smell of her perfume permeated among the roses before darkness. If you try to read this context, sigurado sasabihin ng mga learner, ano daw? Take note, this kind of literary pieces will test your reading comprehension. And allow me to transfer that in Filipino para makuha po natin yung konsepto. Okay ba mga bata? Listen attentively. May magkaibigan. Ang pangalan niya ay Jim at si Pete. Si Jim at si Pete ay nagkasundo na kapag nanalo si Jim sa loterya, kalahati nito ay ibibigay sa kanya dahil sila ay magkaibigan. Nanalo sa loterya si Jim at nang tutuparin niya ang kanyang pangako sa kanyang kaibigan, hindi naman niya makita si Pete. Sabi nga sa konteksto sa literary piece na ito, sa flash fiction, si Pete ay may gamit. Gamit niya ang isang pulang hat o pulang sombrero. Dahil hindi niya mahanap ang kanyang kaibigan, sinabihan na lamang si Jim ng kanyang asawa matapos ang ilang buwan, baka gusto mong gamitin na lamang ang kalahati ng perang ito na napanalunan mo sa loterya sa pagpapagawa ng ating bahay. Dahil hindi mo naman makita ang iyong kaibigan. Dahil dyan, sa panahon ng spring, sinimulan na ngayon ni Jim ang pagbungkal ng kanilang garden para masimulan ang renovation. Na sa kanyang laking gulat, may nakita siyang pamilyar na kulay pulang bagay. At ito ang sombrero ni Jim. Sombrero ni Pete. Nagtaka siya at nagulat. Bakit nakabaon sa lupa ang sombrerong ito? Maya-maya, may naamoy siya na hindi kanais-nais na kumalat sa mga bulaklak na nagkalat sa lugar kung saan siya nagbubungkal. Ang sabi rito, the faint smell of her perfume. Kung kayo ay nakinig ng mabuti, aalimin natin kung ano ang nangyari sa magkaibigan. Let's answer the following processing question located at page 7. Number 1, what is Pete always wearing whenever Jim sees him? Binigay ko kanina ang sagot. Kung ang napili niyong sagot o naiisip ay he wears his red hat, then you are correct. That is our clue. The image which was shown is that we have two friends, magkaibigang matalik si Pete at si Jim. At ang palatandaan nga, si Pete ay may pulang sombrero. Question number 2. After Jim won, Pete went missing. Who convinced Jim to spend Pete's half of money for house renovation? Sino ang nagsabi na ipagawa na lang sa kanilang bahay? If your answer is like this, he was convinced by his wife, then you are correct. Number 3, what is the familiar red Jim unearthed in the garden one spring that made him horrified? Ano daw ang nakita niyang kulay-pulang bagay na nagpatakot sa kanya? If your answer is, he saw Pete's red hat, then you are correct. Pero nakakapagtaka, di ba? Nasa ilalim ng lupa. Kung ating uunawaing mabuti na meron tong twist sa dulo, ano kaya ang nangyari kay Pete? Malalaman natin yan maya-maya. Let's answer number 4. What happened to Jim in the end? Online, ano sa tingin ninyo ang nangyari? Ayan, kung kayo ay nakinig ng mabuti, ano kaya sa tingin ninyo ang surprise ending dito sa dulong bahagi? Bibigyan ko kayo ng clue ha. Ano kaya ang nangyari kay Pete kung nasa ilalim ng lupa ang kanyang sombrero? Buhay pa ba si Pete? If your answer is Pete is already dead, then you are correct. Hindi mapupunta sa ilalim ng lupa ang kanyang paboritong sombrero kung wala siya doon. Okay? So, makikita natin o mai-imagine natin na nung siya ay nanalo, si Jim ay nanalo ng lottery, ba't biglang nawala si Pete? Kung ating i-connect ang kwento, maaaring may kinalaman ang asawa ni Jim sa pagkawala ni Pete dahil may kasunduan itong dalawang ito. Now, let's move on. Number 4. What happened to Jim in the end? This is the answer. Jim was murdered and have the same fate like Pete. At sino ang mamamatay tao? Ang asawa ni Jim. Bakit? Napansin ba ninyo sa huling bahagi ng linya ng kontekstong ito na nagpakita sa atin ng imagery? I'll go back to that area. Look at the last line. While lost in astonishment and horror, habang si Jim daw ay litong-lito sa nangyayari, the faint smell of her perfume permeated among the roses before darkness. May tinukoy na her, asawa, babae ang tinukoy. And when we talk about darkness, o sige, ipikit mo yung mata mo. Ano nakikita mo? May liwanag pa ba? Meaning dark, patay na. Hindi na niya makita ang liwanag. And that's how creative the writer is. Ipinapakita niya kung paano maglaro sa imahinasyon ng mga mambabasa. That's why it's entitled The Unlucky Winners. Bakit unlucky winners? Nanalo si Jim sa loterya at ang ipinangako niya sa kanyang kaibigan na si Pete ay hindi natupad dahil pareho silang namatay. Namatay? Sino ang pumatay? Hindi natin mabanggit kung sino, pero kapag ating inanalisa ito, maaaring ang asawa ni Jim ay may inggit na nararanasan. Hindi ba kay ganda? Kaya yan ang sinasabi nating surprise ending at the end. And it could be a good conclusion or good answer to this one. So for numbers 1 to 4 in our processing question, that's our answer in page 7. So I hope it's clear. Now moving on. Let's have our different activities located in page 10. If we try to look for finding the similarities of graphic fiction and flash fiction, we can say that when we talk about 21st century literature, ito ang ating magiging sagot. First, both of them are written in 2001 onwards. Next, the themes are current, meaning relatable. And number 3, it has unconventional structure. I already gave the answers, my dear learners, for activity number 1. And this format or these answers will help us in answering assessment number 1. It says in your assessment number 1 to expound it by creating a paragraph. Para hindi kayo mahirapan, tutulungan ko kayong gumawa ng isang paragraph at nagbigay ako ng isang example dito. It says here, we have a rubric and you need to have at least 4 characteristics of are listed and explained very well, detailed in logical order, and there are no errors in terms of punctuation and capitalization, so you will get a complete score, which is 4, 4, and 4. Total of 12. Kung gusto nating maka-12, ito ang pwede nating gamitin based on what we have answered earlier. Look, 2 of the recent literary works famous to readers are graphic novels and flash fiction, which depicts current themes and follow an unconventional structure or presentation of sequences and events. It gave readers a remarkable experience as it shows imagery, a perfect theme, and the application of virtual media. Graphic novel is a comic book narrative that is autographic in nature. It encourages interactivity in the minds of the readers, and it fills the blanks between image panels by linking a relationship between images than words, while a flash fiction is characterized by its brevity, complete plot, and the development of successful hallmark with surprising ending. Isn't it nice, my dear learners? So this will be your guide. Pwede po ninyong maging basis ito in creating your paragraph. And take note, you have a rubric there. So my dear learners, if we try to look at it, the graphic novel and the flash fiction are actually nice materials, very current, at mai-engage talaga ang mga readers nito. Gaya nga ng sinabi ko, paborito ko yung flash fiction. Bakit? Aba, itetest talaga ko yung talino mo kasi para maintindihan mo yung ending ng story, kailangan mo maging very imaginative. Okay? Next. Activity number 2, which is located in page 11 of your self-learning module, you need to identify the differences by completing the graphic organizers. And I'll guide you. Kanina sinabi ko na ang graphic fiction ay gumagamit ng pictures o images. Kasi nga naka-comics format. Hindi yan makikita sa flash fiction. Walang ganon sa flash fiction. Walang mapicture. Puro lang yan words. Next. It uses panels. May mga kahon. Kasi comics eh. Bukod doon, we also have a speech balloon. The lines of the characters are in the speech balloon. Without it, hindi natin maiintindihan. Naging comics lang siya na hindi natin naiintindihan. So there's a speech balloon na nandun po yung lines. Next, it has short narrations. Very direct and precise. And lastly, it has sound effects. Kaya ng bzzz, boom, ow! Yan ang mga makikita natin sa graphic fiction. And we can relate to it. Next, the difference for a flash fiction are as follows. First, it uses less than 1,000 words. That's why I told you earlier, it's very easy, it's very convenient. You can do that one in one sitting. Next, it's in a paragraph form. Wala kang makikitang pictures. Puro paragraph lang yan, pero madaling basahin. Next, there is a solid plot. Pag sinabi nating solid plot, maganda ang beginning, maganda ang middle, maganda ang end. At i-challenge ka sa dulong-dulo. Gaya ng kwento natin kanina sa Unlucky Winners. Next, it has a realistic character. Ano ang realistic character na ipinakita dun sa Unlucky Winners? Hindi ba kapag napangunahan na ng tinatawag natin na greed, hindi ba nakakaisip ang isang tao na makagawa ng masama kahit pa na mahal niya ito sa buhay? Na dapat hindi natin tularan. Diba? Next. It gives us a surprising ending. Sino ang mag-aakala na sa story natin kanina, papatayin pala siya ng kanyang asawa? Diba? At ang asawa pala niya ang pumatay sa kanyang kaibigan. Marahil ipinapakita nito na ungrateful yung asawa at gusto niyang masolo yung napalalunan ng kanyang asawa. So if you try to look at it, this is the difference between a graphic fiction and a flash fiction. But ideally, both of them are good literary genres. Okay? Now, there is still a paragraph writing located at page 11. If I give you a guide earlier, I will do the same thing. Here, you need to have a content which has at least 4 characteristics of are listed, well explained. The organization are detailed, logical in order, and the mechanics, there's no error in punctuation mark, capitalization, and the spelling. So this is your guide. Allow me to read it. The difference of a graphic fiction to a flash fiction is easily identifiable due to the following characteristics. A graphic fiction uses images and pictures in illustrating sequences of events with panels like a comic strip. The structure, words, and lines are enclosed in a speech balloon, which is direct to the point. While a flash fiction consists of less than 1,000 words and in a paragraph format, it doesn't use a picture. The plot is arranged logically, which gives us realistic characters that are relatable. Most importantly, it has a surprising ending which will move your imagination and test your understanding and comprehension. Isn't it nice? So I gave you already an example wherein it will easily depict how we could rearrange these differences between graphic fiction and a flash fiction. I hope it's clear now, my dear learners. Let's continue. On to the last part of our activity, Activity number 3, you need to compare and give a contrast between these genres. As you can see, I already explained the story about my freaking alarm and the unlucky winners. But let's focus first. What is the commonality between the two? The answer is they are written realistically, the characters are relatable, and we have a solid plot. How can we say so? Doon sa freaking alarm, di ba meron tayong babaeng character na relatable? Bakit? Di ba palit siya ng palit nung time? Tapos hindi naman siya kumikilos. So you can relate to it. It's realistic. And the plot itself, it's clear from the start, at the middle, and at the end na na-stress siya dahil hindi siya kumilos, late na siya. And when we talk about the unlucky winners, it's also relatable. Why? Hindi ko sinasabing tama ang killing, but nangyayari sa totoong buhay na may murder. At nangyayari ang murder dahil sa pagiging greedy ng isang tao. The characters are relatable. There are events in our life na makikita natin na nag-aaway ang mag-asawa, nakikita natin na may mga kasunduan ng magkakaibigan, and there is a solid plot. Right from the beginning, at the middle, and at the end. But look at the differences. For our unlucky, for the freaking alarm story, or the my freaking alarm, look, etong ginamit. It has panels, naka-comic format, it has sound effects, there is a short narration, and it uses images. While when we talk about the unlucky winners, it uses a paragraph format, a well-developed plot by using few words. And when we try to look at this, nakikita kaagad natin at naiintindihan ng isang storya. Remember this, my dear learners. There are some people who can understand clearly a story by looking at the picture, by looking at the images. That's why this kind of literary genre is very appealing. At ang tawag natin doon kapag gumagamit ng ganong klase ng format, yan ang tinatawag nating graphic novel or graphic fiction. At kapag sinabi naman natin na gumagamit ng less than 1,000 words, yun naman yung tinatawag natin na, anong tawag? Correct. The flash fiction. So if everything is clear, we will now be having our interactive activity. Let's test your skill kung makukuha ninyo ang mga tamang kasagutan sa item na ito. So we will be having an interactive game online. I want you to post your answer. Ilalagay nyo lamang po kung ano ang ating tamang sagot. Our webinar director will share the link via on your screen. Kindly click that one para malaro natin ang activity. So allow me to share that screen. Okay, pakita ko lang po. Okay, when you have that link, you will see there na yan po yung mga activity sa assessment part at itatry nating sagutin kung naaalala ba ninyo yung mga kasagutan tungkol dito. So let's start the game. Okay. By clicking it, you need to answer 15 questions. Online, let's play the game. Question number 1. It refers to imaginative literary usually consisting of 100 words. Ano ang tawag natin? Is it A short story? Next, a flash fiction. Third, is it a doodle fiction? The last one, a graphic fiction. Ano ang tawag natin? To an imaginative literature usually consisting of 200 words. Okay? Ano ang answer natin online? If you choose this one, flash fiction, then you are correct. Remember, a flash fiction is using only 1,000 words below. Next, which is not a feature of graphic novel? Is it a graphic novel is in condensed form? A graphic novel is a combination and screen. It encourages interactivity in the minds of the reader as he fills in the blanks between pages for its language, syntax, and meaning string, primarily through the relationship with pages that what do you think is the answer? If you choose graphic novel is in condensed form ang kanyang format, then you are correct. Number 3, flash fiction is also known as, ano ang tawag daw sa flash fiction, the other bit? Is it a short story, a macro stories, a graphic fiction, or a postcard fiction? Ano ang other tawag sa ating flash fiction? Okay? If you choose a postcard fiction, then you are correct. Next, number 4. It is a flash fiction story that centers on finding tattered teddy bear that the speaker adopted as a child. Is it Taylor Swift, Unnecessary Things, Angels and Berries, I Remember Her 50 Years Later? If your answer is this one, Unnecessary Things, then you are correct. Next, number 5. Which is not a common characteristic of a flash fiction? Is it brief, has complete plot, uses speech bubbles, or presents twist in the ending? That's question number 5. If your answer is this one, uses speech bubble, then you are correct. Kasi ang flash fiction, paragraph format, wala naman siyang speech bubble. Next, number 6. The Barn Owl's wondrous capers of Sarnath Banerjee that portrays 18th century Calcutta is what type of literary genre? Is it manga, flash fiction, digifiction, or a graphic novel? If your answer is graphic novel, then you are wrong. It should be a flash fiction. Next, let's move on. It is where dialogues in graphic fiction are written. Is it image panels, speech bubbles, illustration boxes, or beside illustrations? Ano kaya sa tingin ninyo yung sagot natin doon? It is where dialogues in graphic fiction are written. If your answer is speech bubble, then you are correct. Diba doon nakalagay yung mga linya? Next, number 8. Chester Brown's Louis Riel that centers on a fictionalized violent rebellion in the 19th century is a what? Is it chick lit? Is it a non-tale, a graphic novel, or a text talk novel? If your answer is a graphic novel, then you are correct. Next, number 9. How do flash fictions commonly end in the story? O ito, nabanggit ko na kanina. Is it the story ends with a twist? Is it presents a painful ending? It usually ends happily and merrily? Or readers have the liberty to give their own ending? If your answer in number 9 is this one, the story ends with a twist, then you are correct. Gaya ng aking nabanggit, medyo kakaiba ang kanyang nagiging ending. Next, number 10. Which characterizes a graphic novel? Is it presents colorful image panels? Graphic novels combines letters and words? Graphic novel presents fewest words as possible? Or illustrations allows the readers to imagine and experience the characters and events in the story? What do you think is the answer for number 10? Kanina, binanggit ko na ito ay nag-i-illustrate ng totoong pangyayari. That's why our answer should be this one. Illustration allows the readers to imagine it. Next, number 11. Art Spiegelman in the Shadow of No Tower in 9/11 is an example of what? Is it textula, a flash fiction, a graphic novel, or a text talk novel? If your answer in number 11 is a graphic novel, gaya ng nabanggit ko kanina, ipinakita ko rin yung example, ito ay nag-i-illustrate yung pangyayaring iyon into a comic book format. 12. The following are 21st literary genre except for, is it manga, flash fiction, graphic fiction, or Korea telenovela? For number 12, if your answer is Korean telenovela, then you are correct. Okay? Nasa ibang format siya ng media. Next, number 13. It is a creative piece written in a comic form. This is very easy. Is it a comic story, a storyboard, a flash fiction, or a graphic fiction? For number 13, if your answer is graphic fiction, then you are correct. Moving on to number 14, Tara Campbell explains the various colors of the sky in flash fiction story Entitled what? Is it Taylor Swift? Unnecessary things? Angels and blueberries, or for sale baby socks never worn? If your answer is this one, angels and blueberries, then you are correct. Last number. Graphic novel is also known as, is it digifiction, flash fiction, a doodle fiction, or a graphic fiction? Ano yung other name dito? Andali lang. If your answer is graphic fiction, then you are correct. My dear learners, we are now done with our activity, and if you try to look at it, tapos na rin natin i-discuss yung mismong lesson dito po sa ating pong Module 7 ng ating pong 21st century literature. Okay? So with all of our learners na nanonood po ngayon, I hope everything is clear. I will upload the material in DepEd Commons para po magkaroon po kayo ng guide sa pagsagot, especially dun sa paragraph format. Again, this is Tutor Mark, and see you next time. Bye-bye!
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Magandang araw, Sir Wilbur po, at your service. Narito ang ETULay upang gabayan ka sa inyong pag-aaral upang lubos na maunawaan ang iba't ibang paksa o subject. Ang ETULay ay isang free online tutorial class na pinangungunahan ng ICTS Educational Technology Unit sa pamumuno ni Undersecretary Elaine Del B. Pascua. Ang programang ito ay hindi lamang para sa mga bata, kundi ito rin ay magsisilbing gabay sa mga magulang at mga guro kung paano nila ituturo o gagabayan sa bawat asignatura ang kanilang mga anak o mga estudyante. Sa kasalukuyan, ang self-learning module mula sa rehiyon ng Calabarzon at kilala sa tawag na pivot ang ginagamit sa ating ETULay online class. Kaya ano pang hinihintay ninyo? Ihanda na ang inyong mga ballpen o lapis, papel o kwaderno at samahan kaming itulay ang pagkatuto para sa bawat batang Pilipino. Sama-sama tayong magtutulungan para malampasan ang mga hamon sa panahong ito. Halina't matuto kasama ang inyong online tutor sa oras na ito.
Good afternoon, learners, and welcome to, I think this is the first time that we will be having creative writing subject on ETULay. So I'm very excited and a bit shaky at now. But then, I would also like to greet I am tutor Jamie nga pala. I'm tutor Jamie from Caloocan City Business High School. And I would like to greet all our senior high school students who are doing on a holiday today, because it's Caloocan Day. Ayan, 50-90 year cityhood na ng Caloocan. Okay, so I will be your tutor in helping you with going through creative writing. I think a lot of you or a lot of our learners right now who are tuned in, and even our fellow teachers, have already have gone through the topic that we will be having today. However, please allow me to help you deepen more or elaborate on the topic, which is, wait lang po ha. which would be on drama elements, techniques, and devices. I would like to acknowledge nga pala, the module that I am using for this one would be the module from SDO Caloocan. Module developer is Ma'am Andrea de la Cruz. And also, thank you for the help of my dear co-teacher, Ma'am Joyce de los Santos. Ayan. So let's start po. Again, although I'm a tutor dito, we will do a light discussion, and anything that you want to comment, you can just comment it on the comment side, and then I'll read it, and then there would be a free exchange of ideas. So since creative minds ang ating pinag-usapan dito, and we are doing creative writing, it's okay to bring or give your ideas about our topic. Ayan. So, okay. So, let's start. So, drama elements, techniques, and devices. So, let's just, before we go through our lesson, let's just review some drama terms. So, yung mga gusto pong sumagot, those who want to participate with the discussion, you can just comment your answers. No? So, letter lang. Yeah. So, let's have number 1. Which of the following refers to a major division in a drama? A, act, B, scene, or D, or C, conflict. So what would be your answer? Okay. So if your answer is A, act, you are correct. So this actually refers to the major division in a drama. You may be wondering, no, my dear learners and fellow teachers na viewing, baka tumitigin ako doon, may tinitignan ako. My monitor kasi is on that side. Okay? There. So let's go to the next question. What do you call the struggle between opposing forces? Is it A, act, B, conflict, or C, scene? What could be your answer? If you answered B, conflict, you are correct. Yan. So, the opposing forces, we also call this as the trouble or the things that are being yung pinag-aawayan ng mga characters in between the plots. No? And this is part of the plot. Okay? Next question. Which of the following refers to the conversation between the characters? Is it A, soliloquy, B, foil, or C, dialogue? Ano ang sagot natin dyan? Okay? So if your answer, obviously, no, lagi nating nakikita yan, especially those who really are fanatics of movies, no, and then plays. There. Okay, so tama yung sagot ni Ami Share. It would be, correct answer is letter C. C, dialogue. Okay. Next is, what is committed when someone says something but means another? Is it A, verbal irony, B, situational irony, and C, dramatic irony? So what is committed when someone says something but means another? So if your answer is letter A, verbal irony, you are correct. No? So that's a type of irony that we have already learned during our junior high school. There. Next, we have, which device is used when a hint or clue is given before it happens in a story? Is it A, foil, B, foreshadowing, or C, theme? So what is the correct answer? Ito yung hint or clue, yung parang in a movie, parang alam mo na ito yung mangyayari. And then you'll have that effect na sabi ko na yan ang mangyayari. If your answer is foreshadowing, you are correct. So that is the effect that is been given by foreshadowing. Okay? Yeah. So, tapos na. Nakailan po ba kayo? Yan. So, no matter kung ilan po ang scores na nakuha nyo, no? It doesn't matter, but as long as you recall the different terms in drama. It is also fine that we don't get everything kasi we are just recalling. And the quiz is actually a help for us to review and have a review of what we know about drama during our junior high school or even during our grade 11 kung nasa grade 12 na kayo. Okay? So moving on, let's go to, I want you to read on this quotation. This is actually a line from Jack from Act 2, Scene 7 of the play As You Like It by our most celebrated and our literary genius, William Shakespeare. All the world's a stage, and all men and women merely players. Anyone who wants to share po kung ano ang intindi natin or what we mean or what we understand about this quotation or this line from As You Like It by William Shakespeare? Anyone who wants to share? So what do you think is William Shakespeare or Jacques would like to tell his or her audience about this? Yeah, so good afternoon po, Sir Rudney Putong, our head teacher in Caloocan City Business High School. Okay, so we will go back to that quotation or that line from William Shakespeare as we go along our discussion. Ayan, so dito na tayo sa drama play. So drama play is also known as stage play or drama play or theater play. Okay? So, this is, minsan kasi when we talk about drama, it's most of the time, we depict yung mga drama series on TV or on Netflix, no? It's just another type of drama. But what we're going to talk about here is the drama play or the theater arts. Okay? So, drama comes from the Greek term dran, which means to do or to act. And drama is an art of literature that is meant to be performed, thus it should be appreciated differently. So when we say appreciated differently, it's not like the written literature or novel or short plays that you just sit around, you just sit and then you just read it. With drama play kasi, especially when you are reading a script, you try to imagine everything from the action, how the words are being delivered, tapos where is the position, for example, if you are an aspiring actor or actress in drama, where is your position going to be? How are you going to internalize your character? So it's really different. Kasi may makikita tayo dun sa script na not only the dialogues, but also how the playwright, no, the playwright is the one who's writing drama scripts, how the playwright would want you to deliver your action and your dialogue, no? So nakalagay doon sa description nila. Okay? So it's really different and it's meant to be acted out, no? It's meant to be acted out. Okay? So there are different genres of drama. Just like all other literature, we have different genres or different types. With genres, what I'm going to share with you today would be yung sinauna or the time of Aristotle and all other like Euripides, the elements and the genres that they have started with. No? So, baka mamaya sabihin niyo sa akin, Tutor Jamie, parang meron pang ibang genre of drama. That's okay. That's okay actually. Ngayon, puntahan muna natin yung origin ng drama and the genres that they play with during those times. And that would be, the first one is comedy. From the term alone, when we say comedy, it's just funny acts, no? But there was a time then when the comedy plays or the theater actually used the comedy as a genre to play satire or to be satirical. When we speak of satirical, we meant that the play is actually mocking, or the idea is mocking the especially the abusive people or the abusive officers, yung mga uh, mga leaders during that time sa government. So they are just mocking their actions. And they put it into comedy para hindi ganun kahalata. And then we also have tragedy. Tragedy is actually a loss of life or sad ending. So marami yan. And then it's also the protagonist's downfall due to his or her flaw. Tragedy also shows ako, I always tell my students na pag may namatay, especially if it's the protagonist, it's usually considered tragedy. Okay? There. So those are the two genres of drama. And then let's try to from the two definitions or two genres of drama that we have mentioned, let's try to classify some of the known plays or known theatrical plays that we might have watched already, and then let's try to identify what genre it falls under. Okay? About this one. So this would be, of course, alam natin lahat yan, Romeo and Juliet, no? The forever Romeo and Juliet. Okay? So what do you think is the genre of Romeo and Juliet? You can comment your answers. Of course, if you since we already know how the story ended, no, instead of them being successful with their eloping or with them going away from the cruel world or their cruel society and to be together, no, of course, they ended up both dying, no, so namatay sila pareho. And Amisher is correct, that is tragedy, no. How about this one? A Midsummer Night's Dream. I'll give you a clue. Look at the poster. Look at the graphics. A Midsummer Night's Dream is actually a story or a play by, of course, William Shakespeare, katulad na Romeo and Juliet. And this is actually a story about, alam niyo yung dapat para sa kanya pero napunta sa iba. Ang sakit, ano? Meaning, there was an intended parang there was an intended parang spell for a person, tapos na mali sila ng pinagbigyan, and at the end you can see there on the graphics meron kayo makikita na parang asno siya, an ass, not really a donkey. Yun ang naging kalabasan ng isa, no? So it's actually a good play there. So from you can see from the poster or from the graphics, it shows like parang may mga fairies and all, no? So it's actually a comedy, no? A comedy by, of course, William Shakespeare as well. Okay, so there. Now we go to the elements of drama. No? So of course, other literature also have elements of drama, since drama is also considered as a literature, a performing literature, or a literature that is being performed. It also has its elements. Ako, I would always want to think elements as something that is like an ingredient na parang it's a standard that whenever you lack that ingredient, your food would not really taste that well, or your expectation for the food would not really be met, no? So just you may find some elements of the drama here na mababanggit ko would be familiar with the elements of a short story or story, kasi halos pareho lang sila. Ako, I feel that every story or every novel can actually be put into drama play as long as it is interpreted by a playwright into a drama script and then into a drama play. So let's have the first one. So actually, Aristotle has 6 drama elements. So ito na naman ako, Aristotle na naman ako ng Aristotle. Before kasi, Aristotle is actually, of course, we all know Aristotle, no, as one of the geniuses of our history. So isa siya sa mga nagpasimuno nito, and he has standardized the drama plays and has came up with these drama elements. So the first one is plot, no? Sabi sa inyo, familiar to eh. And then what happens in the play or in the story or the order of the events is actually the plot. So kung isa-isayin natin yan, ano ba natatandaan nyo when it comes to plot? Of course, we have this. The beginning, the rising action, the conflict, the climax, the falling action, and then the resolution. Ay, Tutor Jamie, pareho lang pala ng story. Yes, pareho lang. Pero, let me share with you or let me tell you na there are drama plays wherein the playwright or the director of the play would rather begin the performance with a conflict rather than dun talaga siya mag-umpisa sa beginning. Because in plays kasi, in drama plays or in theater arts, it's important that from the beginning, you capture the audience's interest agad. You hold on to their attention. So pag medyo hindi ganun interesting yung umpisa, wala nang bang or wala nang dating yung umpisa, most probably they would just slack on it. Parang hindi na sila masyado makikinig or something like that. Remember, I'm not sure if you have watched a movie, a video, or a short video of Saigon, Miss Saigon by Lea Salonga. Ano, yung mga nauna pa. In that play, and most other plays nowadays, uumpisahan na nila. They would start with like a variety show or a song, no? Kasi they really need to have a grip on the attention of the audience, and that's really important in a play. Okay, there. Next, we have theme. Okay, the main idea within the play. I know, I understand that some of you may have some questions about the difference of a theme and a lesson or yung parang ano tawag yan, moral lesson. It's actually different, no? A theme I always tell my students na pag sinabi mong theme, it's the main idea, and most of the time I would ask them to express it in one word. The common themes that are being used in drama plays would be love, about life, about family, and about friendship, no? Okay, so let me ask you, what do you think is the theme of Romeo and Juliet? So some of you may have answered love, syempre, di ba? But there's also friendship there because of some of the friendships that are being mentioned there, like Romeo and his cousin, no? There, that's correct, no? Amisher. And then also, there is also the theme of family. So, Tutor Jamie, ibig mong sabihin, a story can actually have different themes. Yes. And it actually depends on the interpretation or the interpretation of the audience or reader, kung binabasa yon, and of the playwright, kung paano niya gusto ipalabas yung theme. Okay? So, pwede naman. In the first place, most of the drama, the drama that we see are actually reflections of our daily life. So, di ba, marami tayong theme sa buhay. And then, of course, you have the character, a role played by an actor in a play. So, alam na natin to. We always hear this. So, we have the hero, the villain, and the sidekick. No, I included sidekick because there are plays wherein the hero is actually being raised up with the help of the sidekick. So, in-establish ko yung kanyang presence siyaan. And then, of course, we have the dialogue. Since drama is actually meant to be acted or to be performed, of course, kailangan may dialogue. Otherwise, parang nanonood lang tayo ng puro action. So, lines delivered by actors. And these lines are this includes word choices of the actors, actually by the playwright, and then the enunciation. No, of course, it actually meets with the setting of the story, or the nature or the origin of the story, the setting of the story. Kasi if the play is from somehow, halimbawa dito sa Philippines, and it's from a setting that is pre-Hispanic or any period before our period now, of course they would have to adapt to how the words are being pronounced para more realistic siya. Nandun tayo sa realistic side. Okay? And then music and rhythm. Sound and melody of the speeches. Aristotle actually talks about music and rhythm when it comes to the actor's way of delivering their dialogue, or the words, or the speeches. No, it's not really about the sound. Noong panahon nila, hindi talaga by the sound yan. How do the actors um, play with the lines, with the dialogues that they have? How do they do it, or how do they deliver it together with all the actors in a drama? So yun yung rhythm. Hindi pwedeng nagsosolo yung actor. It has to have music and rhythm. Yun yung sabi ni Aristotle. And then there, it includes actually monologue and the dialogue of the actors. There. And of course, this is the last of Aristotle's 6 drama elements. It's the spectacle. So from the term alone, pag spectacle, it's actually related to, or talks about the visual elements of the drama. So during those times, wala naman silang sound system, wala naman silang mic. So everything that they show has to be done in scratch, no? So kung ano-ano siguro yung ginagamit nila, like for example, if it's for the sound of thunder, they will have to make up something like a sound of that of thunder. Or kung rain, they would have to make up a sound of rain. So hindi naman sila ganun ka-techy before, no? And this actually includes costume, the scenery or the backdrop dun sa ng stage, and then the special effects. Now, let's to summarize all Aristotle's 6 drama elements, we have the plot, the theme, the characters, dialogue, music, and rhythm. Music, rhythm, and then spectacle. Now, I want to show you the drama elements that are being used now in modern times. Let's try to compare the two, no? So dito sa side ni Aristotle, ng 6 drama elements niya, we have 6 elements. Pero pagdating doon sa modern drama elements, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 na. What do you think is removed from or is not present in Aristotle's time that is now in the modern times? So, di ba, nandun pa rin yung plot, and then the theme is still there, and then the characters, and then the dialogue. Wala lang yung music, rhythm, and then the spectacle. Whereas, with the modern drama elements, you can find convention, genre, and audience. So, anong ibig sabihin yan, Teacher Jamie? This is actually the explanation. Aristotle's music and rhythm and spectacle are actually put into one, which is now called the convention. In convention, lahat na dyan, all the technology, the sound system, the lights, no, the backdrop, everything is put together by the director of the play and the playwright into the element of convention. So pinagsama lang para dun sa isa. Now, I would like to go with the audience muna before yung genre. With the audience, bakit doon sa Aristotle, 6 drama elements, wala yung audience? Eh, ibig sabihin, walang nanonood sa kanila before. Tapos ngayon, kailangan na element na ang audience. I would like to think that the elements of this literary genre actually changes through time. No, it changes through time. It doesn't stock up there. So ngayon kasi the audience is an important element of drama because especially in other countries like in US, in Broadway, diba? In European countries, there is a great yung kanilang theater performances or yung kanilang theater art is actually booming. So talagang tinatangkilik, they really have that market for theater. Dito kasi sa atin most of the time and sadly sadly the theater arts is hindi ganun ka popular like film and all other entertainment. That's expected naman and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that there are different cultures, no? So mas mahilig lang talaga sila dun sa abroad ng drama. However, with the audience kasi it's important that right now that the audience be included in the elements kasi syempre if it also goes with the genre and the theme of your play, no? If your theme has to be like love, friendship, you have to go with the audience or you have to get an audience that would relate much, no? Relate to the theme of the story or of the play. Kasi kung ang dadalhin mo doon puro mga bata naman and it's love, they cannot really relate on the theme. Sayang naman yung play, 'di ba? And then of course the genre. Bakit doon sa kay Aristotle walang genre? I would like to say that during that time, there are only two. Kanina pinakita natin that there are only two major genre of drama during those times. So tragedy and comedy lang. Yun yung major. Tapos, ngayon, pinagsamang tragedy and comedy, which we call tragicomedy. And then we also have the melodrama, which have themes that are simple and yung parang sobrang predictable yung endings. Like for example, there are most of the time we see melodrama themes like this in mga TV series wherein we all parang alam natin kung saan pupunta na yung ending and we have already an idea. That's called the melodrama. But it doesn't mean that it's not exciting. Of course there is excitement, there's still excitement there. Okay? Next. Parang bumabagal ang aking ano. Now we go to the devices of drama. Before pala yan, devices of drama is also known, we know it as literary devices or figures of speech when we do writing. But when we do in drama plays, we also use literary devices and we call it devices of drama. So pareho rin yun. May mga simile, metaphor, personification, hyperbole, what else? And all those na ang dami kasi talaga niyan, figures of speech, no? But the one thing that is really common and really used in drama is irony. And irony is actually different from what is expected. Irony is one of the figures of speech that are really misunderstood. Hindi talaga siya contrast, no? So when you say black and white, it doesn't mean that it's contrast. It only means this is not what you expected to happen, no? So parang paasa ganon, no? So irony is really different from contrast. Okay, let's expound on that. So an example would be there is a post on Facebook. For example, may nakita kang Facebook and then he or she is ranting, and what he or she is ranting is that useless daw ang Facebook. This is irony. Why? You are not expecting a person to use Facebook to say or to air that it's useless because practically you're using it, diba? So parang ganon. Okay, so that's irony. There are three types of irony that are commonly used in drama. So the first is verbal irony. Here's an example of verbal irony. This is a line by Mercutio to Juliet's nurse, addressing Juliet's nurse. Kasi there is a scene there wherein Juliet has she sent her nurse to give the message of give her message to Romeo about their plan, no, na they want to elope and then may iinumin si Juliet. And then Mercutio got across with the nurse and was able to know about it. And then Mercutio greeted the nurse, Juliet's nurse, in our language po, yaya ni Juliet. And God, you good and fair, gentle woman. Tutor Jamie, paano siya naging verbal irony? Okay, it's verbal irony because Juliet's nurse is not really a fair woman. In fact, in some interpretation of the play, uh, Juliet's nurse is actually medyo matanda na. No? So, saying fair, gentle woman is actually saying different from what you really mean. No? So, parang we sometimes say verbal irony is actually sarcasm, no, a sarcastic statement, no, pero of course there is a difference still, no. So that's one example of verbal irony. So if you are going to write a drama play, you can use a verbal irony and incorporate it into the dialogue. So maganda kasi na meron ganun. Sometimes it gives an effect of comedy, no, for that for verbal irony. Next, we have another type of irony, which is situational irony. In Act 1 of Romeo and Juliet, Romeo is actually, no, hindi niya pa kilala si Juliet, Romeo is actually looking for Rosaline. Rosaline is the one that she is trying to look for in the party or in the gathering. However, when he saw Juliet, he fell in love automatically with Juliet. And that's situational irony. Why is it situational irony? Kasi nga, we, the audience, or we who know the story, anong tawag dito? We are not expecting, or at least Romeo is not expecting that he would fall in love with another girl. And fate pa is that kaaway pa ng kanila angkan. So that effect is actually the situational irony in Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet. No? So it's something that is out. Actually, this is some would say that situational irony is the real irony, no? Because it's something that had happened which you did not expect. Okay? So there, maganda rin gamitin ng situational irony sa drama. And then the last types of irony is dramatic irony. In Romeo and Juliet, the dramatic irony there is when Juliet thought, no, magising siya after mahimasmasan siya from drinking hindi naman really, it wasn't really a poison, it's just like a concoction, no, para lang to let her look like she's dead, no. After she has woken up, no, Juliet appeared dead to Romeo. I'm sorry. So Juliet appeared dead to Romeo. And then, Romeo did not know that talagang natutulog lang si Juliet. So bring about by the concoction lang, prepared by the priest. Pero tayo, as audience, we know that Juliet is alive. And we get that effect of the dramatic irony because the characters do not know that what is really happening. But we, the audience, the viewers, actually know what is happening or what is the real story there. So, yun yung dramatic irony. Sometimes we would have that effect na, ala, wag ka dyan, nandyan sa likod, di ba? Sometimes we have that effect na pag nanonood tayo, sabi sa'yo, wag ka pupunta dyan kasi sabi ko sa'yo, na parang we are talking to the character. But of course, the story invokes that the character doesn't know what is happening. So that's dramatic irony. Yan. So, pag nanonood kayo, you would get, when you get that effect na parang, di ba, I'm sure everyone has seen the, maraming dramatic irony sa, anong tawag yan, sa Endgame. No? Lagi kong binibigay na example yun. Endgame, Avengers Endgame. There. Now we go to the techniques of drama. Okay, so for the techniques of drama, pag sinabing techniques of drama, these are how we do or how the actors and the actresses work together in terms of their vocals, their physical actions, their dialogues, and how to deliver everything or the whole script or the whole drama, the whole story successfully. So there are techniques that are usually done. So the first one is the vocal dynamics. So lines are merely words until you deliver them. So when we say lines are merely words, uh, until you work what is being said, it's meaningless. Meaning, if you just read something, like for example, if you read oh Romeo, my Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo, pag binasa mo lang yon, it doesn't have an effect. You're just reading it. It's not vocal dynamics. But when you read it and then you put your heart into it and you internalize the loving experience of Juliet as she mentions that Romeo's name, that's vocal dynamics. Meron ng arte, meron ng love, all the emotions are there. Actually, drama is known to be a life, like a life, parang life-size action, no? Our drama critic before during college ko, lagi niya sinasabi, in drama, everything is exaggerated. Hindi mo ibubuka yung bibig mo ng super liit kasi you will not be heard from by the people who are watching at the back or who are watching far end from the far end from the stage. No, so you really have to enunciate, you really have to talk loud, and you don't dance na parang nahihiya ka. That's a no-no in drama, in stage plays. You have to extend your actions. And then we also have body language and mannerism. So actors bring the character to life by movements and reactions. No? So alam na natin yan. Even in movies, the effect of the actors when they do their body language is actually important. No? We get to cry because of the reaction of the actors and the actresses. We get to relate to what they feel by just looking in their eyes or just by listening to what they say and how bitter or how happy they say the dialogues or the statements. Okay, so body language and mannerisms, and then vocal dynamics. Improvisational techniques. Improvisational techniques are on-the-spot creativity skills, or what we call ad-libs. I remember sometime when I was doing a drama skit or a drama play during my elementary, we were doing Bohemian Rhapsody, no, parang anong tawag yan? Interpretative dance. And then I was playing the devil, so I was wearing all black. And accidentally my skirt went off. It was just fortunately mahaba yung shirt ko. So I was actually hawak-hawak ko yung aking palda kasi hindi ko pwede siyang tanggalin during the play. So hawak-hawak ko yung palda ko and I was doing this. Ad-libs are actually good kasi audience would not notice if you are able to deliver it flawlessly. Audiences would not see na meron kang flaw o nagkamali ka dun sa dialogue mo. So it's actually a good skill for an actor or a stage actor or a stage actress to really be mindful or to be very good in this skill, the ad-libs, no? Pero sometimes, some directors or some playwrights, they would not like yung para super ad-lib ka naman. Everything that is in excess would be not good as well, no? There. But then, of course, it's good that you have an extra skill that you can use to deliver your act. And then you have to use the awareness of space. What's this awareness of space, Tutor Jamie? Of course, in drama plays, you are using a stage. You are actually acting on the stage. And everything is actually affected by your position in the drama stage or in the stage. So if you are in the in the upper part of the stage, upper stage, um, it actually has to be in sync with all the other characters, otherwise magugulo yung buong play, no? Kaya sinasabi na it affects other technical elements, because if you have your lights at nandun ka, you're expected to be on the far upper right stage, dun itututok yung spotlight or yung light sa'yo, di ba? So it has to be in coordination. So it's also a challenge for an actor or for an actress to really be aware of kung saan yung pwesto niya. So kapag nakakita nga kayo ng stage, pag nag-produce kayo, it's also helpful that you put markings on the stage. Yung iba sasabihin parang akala nila parang dumi lang yon. It's not. It's where it's where they put the markings para merong palatandaan or may sign kung saan po pwesto yung character. And it's also included most of the time in the script, no? So napaka-technical din ng script there. So I would like to show this to you. I saw this on Daily Actor on Google. Marami actually. You just have to be responsible with researching on the internet. So if you see here, so ituro ko na lang yung cursor ko. So the U is actually upstage, and then etong tatlong to nasa taas, this is actually the upstage, and then this is the center, no? And then this is the downstage. Ang pinaka starting point niyan is the audience. Yung audience ang pinaka reference point when it comes to stage, no? So you have here, yung nandito sa taas, upstage. Baka sabihin niyo po, ang audience, parang ang susundin na kanan kaliwa, right or left, would be the actors right or left. No? So kung halimbawa nakaharap ako sa inyo, the upstage right would be on the audience's left side ng view. Pero yung actor, that would be his real right. Marami po, even when we were doing drama, no, dramatics during college, marami po, kahit kami nalilito kami. So students, learners, do not be afraid to yung magkamali when it comes to remembering these things. You just have to have that point na your real right would be your reference for knowing which is upstage right, and then upstage left. Ayan. So matter of remembering lang yan. Okay? So ayun, those were marami pang hindi ako natakal with the elements and techniques and devices of drama. However, these are just the most common discussed with this topic, no? So we should be creative in a way that we are not afraid to discover what is there or what is on drama. Malay nyo, baka isa kayo sa makapag-invent ng ng new elements and techniques that we can use or our future actors and actresses could use in drama plays, no? Okay. Shoutout po pala sa mga kasama ko, teachers sa Caloocan City Business High School. Thank you very much po. Now, let's try this to be a drama critic once in a while. Actually, should I say assignment? Not really. Pero I would like to encourage everyone or our learners, no, to when you are watching a drama, a play, or even a movie, let's try to be, hindi lang yung basta nanonood tayo. Let's try to be more critical with how we watch them para mas ma-appreciate natin sila. Appreciation comes not just with what is beautiful. Appreciation also comes out when we are also looking at some of its flaws. Kasi sometimes the beauty comes from the flaw of that piece, hindi lang natin napapansin. No? And sometimes flaws are actually meant to be there to like to showcase the beauty more, diba? Okay, so I would like to give this to you. So it's actually up to you if you want to get this, but it's actually an encouragement. So number one, you find a short drama or skit on YouTube. So marami po doon. This actually doesn't just apply to drama plays. It also applies to to like films, to videos, no, series. Meron din po doon. So find a short drama or skit on YouTube and then enlist some elements, devices, techniques that you can find according to what we have discussed, and then analyze how these elements, devices, and techniques are used to give an effect or how it affects the performance of the drama as a whole. And if we do this and maging usual na sa atin, we can call ourselves drama critics or literary critics, and it would actually help us with a deeper appreciation with drama and with any literary, mapa-written man yan o mapa-print. Ayan. So with this, I would like to end my discussion, and I hope that I have helped you with this topic on creative writing. Pardon for my stuttering kasi it's my first time to do this, and I would like to again greet all my kasama in our Caloocan City a happy holiday, 59th year cityhood. Ayan. So I'll see you next week for another topic for creative writing. Remember, creative writing, you have to use our imagination. Thank you.
Sigurado ako na marami ka na namang natutuhan sa ating ETULay tutorial session ngayong araw. Tandaan, ito ay hindi lamang para sa ating mga mag-aaral, kundi pati rin sa ating mga minamahal na guro at mga magulang na kaagapay natin para maituloy ang pagkatuto sa kabila ng nararanasang pandemya. Patuloy ding sumubaybay sa DepEd TV para sa mga araling ginawang video episodes. Mapapanood ito mula Lunes hanggang Sabado, alas 7 ng umaga hanggang alas 7 ng gabi sa inyong mga telebisyon. Abangan bukas mula 1:00 ng tanghali ang iba pang aralin sa ating ETULay free online tutorial session sa Filipino. I-like and subscribe at manatiling nakasubaybay sa ating ETULay tutorial session sa DepEd Edtech Unit FB page at Educational Technology Unit channel sa YouTube at sa DepEd Tayo at DepEd Philippines social media accounts. Paalam!
Okay, so good afternoon once again. I went back because earlier we have an item in our interactive exercise. That's actually number 6. And I want to give a correction regarding our answer key. The correct answer should be graphic fiction or yung graphic novel. Okay? Ito po ay makikita po sa number 6 po ng inyo rin pong soft learning module. So allow me to share my screen para po makita po yun clearly, and we have already updated the interactive material so that you could utilize it in your review. Okay, so here it is. That's number 6. The Barnes Owl's Wondrous Capers of Sarnath Banerjee that portrays 18th century Calcutta is the answer there is a graphic novel. Dun kanina sa ating online activity, ang nalagay po kasi na answer ay flash fiction. So we want to correct that. The answer for number 6 is a graphic novel. So with that, I hope you visit the DepEd Commons because we have already uploaded there the PowerPoint presentation and also the links regarding our online tutorial session or the ETULay session. So with that, thank you and have a great afternoon, my dear learners. Bye-bye.
Cognizant to the needs of our learners, parents, and teachers, the Department of Education provided us with powerful tools for productivity that will allow us to foster critical thinking skills, problem-solving skills, communication and collaboration skills to be compassionate, responsible global citizens. Join us and discover new ideas in our series of professional development training program with the ICTS Edtech Unit and Microsoft Education Philippines. Together, we will equip our learners and empower our fellow educators for a dynamic future. Para sa bata, para sa bayan, at para sa guro. Sulong Edukalidad.